Hey guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. Today we will see what if Sasuke cheats on pregnant Naruto. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments. Okay, please wait one more time. I really have to pee. Sorry. The pink-haired girl whined while doing some whacked version of the potty dance. The brightly annoying blonde complained. Again, Sakura-chan. That's the seventh time in the last 3 hours. Come on, Naruto. Don't ask her questions and let Sakura do her business. I want to get home and relieve some stress. If you know what I mean. The dark-eyed Uchiha smirked in the blonde's ear, while slipping his pale arms around his waist possessively. The silver-haired pervert of a sensei was raising his eyebrows questionably at each of his students' actions. Naruto noticed this. Ah, Sasuke. Not in public, and not in front of sensei either. I can't be getting a boner here of all places, so stop talking into my ear like that. Naruto pulled out of his lover's grasp. Naruto, I get why you would hold off in public. But why are you so embarrassed about Kakashi seeing? The Uchiha asked, rather annoyed. It's not anything special. I would just rather not get into that subject with sensei. If he asked questions about how we screw each other, then I might die. Naruto shivered at the thought. And with that comment, the masked nin crept up behind the blonde. So Naruto, when you guys do it, who is on top? Wah, Sensei, why would you ask something like that? The flustered blonde fell onto the ground from fright and embarrassment. Sasuke chuckled. Shouldn't that be obvious? Of course I'm seeing. Ah, that's what I thought. Kakashi said in an all too cheery voice. Of course, wait, what? What the hell is that supposed to mean, sensei? Naruto yelled, even more red than before. The silver-haired man walked over and patted the top of Naruto's head. Calm down, Naruto. It's just a simple statement from simply observing your relationship with Sasuke is all. Kakashi is touching my property without my permission again. The all too touchy sensei looked up to the Uchiha's glare. What's up with the face, Sasuke? Something hit a nerve by any chance? Sasuke was about to retort, when Kakashi did something only the bravest soul would do when being glared at by such evilness. Naruto-kun, you're just so adorable when I talk about with you. The fearless copy nin wrapped his arms fully around the poor blonde's waist while giving him a sweet kiss on his beet red cheeks, while falling on him. With his mask on, of course. The evil aura around the pissed rebel made birds drop dead from surrounding trees. Get your hands and body off my property. The Uchiha grabbed the collar of the frozen blonde's jacket and tore him out of Kakashi's taunting but warm embrace. Sorry, I'm back. I really don't know what's wrong with me lately, but I'm pretty sure that much pee is not normal. Sakura was smiling apologetically, as she felt the sudden shock of tension going through the air. Sakura chhannnnn. Save me. The whimpering blonde hid behind the strength monstrosity known as the pink-haired medic. Obviously wanting to change the topic and situation, Kakashi brought up something heart-stopping. Sakura, think about it. You have had to pee a lot recently, not to mention the wild cravings we all witnessed yesterday. Do you think that maybe you're? At this moment, the pink-haired girl stopped trying to pry the useless lump of blonde shinobi from her legs, and froze. And no, that's not possible. Not at all. I didn't even have with guys. Sakura's bewildered green eyes meet with the dark Uchiha's. Sasuke's eyes went colder than normal as he looked away. What in the world are you talking about? Sensei, you never finished the sentence. Why stop at the end? Naruto had his arms wrapped around Sakura's neck and shoulders, while standing to the side of her. Kakashi sighed with a look in his gray eyes that said, how did I raise such an oblivious and idiotic student? I asked Sakura if she thinks there is a possibility of her being pregnant? Naruto looked at his best friend. Sakura, I thought you and Granny had a thing going on for the past year? The pink-haired girl went wide-eyed as she punched the blonde straight into the ground. How many times have I told you not to call her Granny? Me and Tsunade are in a relationship. There is nothing Granny-ish about her. Her looks are young-looking and the skills she possesses are good in more than one way. Wah, sorry Sakura-chan, that hurt. The blonde held at his head where she furiously punched him. Sakura sighed and helped him back up. Sorry, but seriously. Call her Granny in front of me again and I will bury you alive. Okay, I shall refrain. But now that we're on the subject of pregnancy, Sakura-chan, aren't you a week late for your period? The blonde looked at her shocked face. Naruto, That's right. Her eyes poured over with guilt as she looked to Sasuke once again. Why does Sakura keep looking at Sasuke? And why is he avoiding eye contact with her? Kakashi was considering everything seriously. This is just a bunch of coincidences happening at once. Nothing to worry about, right? Since you are in a committed relationship with Hokage-sama. So let's just go home already. Sasuke seemed to give the green-eyed girl a stale but reassuring face. But Sakura could feel the burning anger behind his words, and see it in his eyes. Yes, this seems too suspicious. What if Sasuke and Sakura? No, Naruto and Sakura are best friends. She wouldn't betray him like that, would she? Kakashi started walking first, with the sudden feeling of murder surrounding his body. Sensei, are you okay? The nervous blonde went to touch the copy nin's shoulder. But a feeling like a spark of electricity shot his hand back. Kakashi looked over with a smile in his eye. I'm fine, Naruto. Just filled with the sparking enthusiasm of how much Mabed must miss me. Yeah, I can tell. It felt like there was a barrier around you or something. It literally shocked me. The bouncing blonde was yelling accusingly at his sensei. The silver-haired nin looked behind them and saw Sakura walking next to the Uchiha. Sasuke-kun, do you think? The pink-haired girl's face was all twisted and in knots. The Uchiha looked at her with dead eyes. I love Naruto, and you do too. Just remember that, and remember his smiling face. He walked away from the almost crying girl. I don't know what to do. I need to speak with Shizune immediately. Sakura was thrown out of her confused thoughts by an arm around her shoulders. Sakura-chan, it will be okay, don't worry. If you didn't sleep with a guy then it shouldn't be possible. The blonde walked slowly beside her. Yeah, if I didn't sleep with a guy, huh? Naruto, you're having a sleepover at my place tonight. We haven't had one of our nights for about a month. Sakura was looking to the ground, as she felt the grasp around her waist and her feet lifted the ground. Naruto lifted his best friend over his head and sat her on his shoulders. Her thighs on each side of his blonde locks. Naruto. What are you doing? The green-eyed medic held on tightly to his jacket. You seem upset, so this should cheer you up like it did last time. And of course, I will bring the ramen. You set out some movies and we can talk all night if you want, Sakura-chan. The blonde eagerly caught up to the Raven boy and his perverted sensei. Oh Naruto. You are so great to me. There was a warm feeling filling her chest as she wiped the one escaped prisoner from her eye. Naruto. The only time you are supposed to put your head in between someone's thighs is when they are my thighs. So put her down, the Raven demanded with a hint of jealousy. Naruto held her tighter. Sasuke. It's only been a week since we did it last. Don't be getting like this already, or I will hold out on you. Back at the Leaf Village. Smiley face. There was a knock on Shizune's office door at the hospital. Come in. Sakura walked in through the door pale as snow, and sweat drops going down her face. Followed by a yawning blonde. Sakura? Why are you here? Did something happen? Also, why is Naruto here? She held a worried expression, and the happy-looking pig in her lap. Shizune. Naruto grabbed the nervous girl hand and tightly squeezed it. I might be pregnant and I want you to check me out. This has to be a secret, Shizune. The black-haired lady looked at Sakura with confusion as a jolt of reality kicked in. Sakura, you didn't. Shizune, I'm sorry, but please don't let Tsunade know about it yet. Sakura was on the ground begging like a pink poodle after bacon. Shizune stood up and shook her head in disbelief. Naruto. Don't tell me you are the father? The blonde jumped out of his skin. Don't even dare. I'm a full-fledged player for the ball and stick team. I don't do melons. Plus, I wouldn't do that with Sakura-chan while she is with Granny because, well, Granny has a temper. Then what all do you know about this situation? Shizune's stare was stern and very unwelcoming. A cold shudder went through Naruto's spine. Well, not much. Sakura-chan hasn't told me anything yet besides that she might be pregnant. So I came here with her for support. Even if everyone else turns against her, I will still be beside her side. Sakura looked up at Naruto with teary eyes. Naruto. Shizune roughly pulled Sakura off the floor. Okay, I will check you out. So come on. They all three walked out the door, heading to a private area. In the Hokage building. Kakashi, Sasuke? Back from your mission I suppose. Where is Sakura and Naruto? The blonde lady stood up at her desk looking around them. Sorry Hokage-sama, Sakura pulled Naruto off to the hospital for some reason. But we are here to turn in the mission statement. Kakashi handed in a paper while glancing at Sasuke. This sucks. Me and that idiot blonde were going to screw till we both dropped tonight. But that damned girl took him to stay with her. The Uchiha looked over annoyed with his arms crossed. Kakashi chuckled. Damn Sasuke. You would think that Naruto hadn't let you get any in a month or so, from how anxious you are about getting in his pants. The Raven scowled at him. At least I'm getting some ass. Unlike you, Kakashi. Now Sasuke. Who says I'm not getting any? The Junin said in a mocking voice. The brown-eyed woman finished reading the paper over. Okay boys, calm yourselves. How about we agree that everyone in the room is getting some tail, K? They both simultaneously pictured an image of her and Sakura in their perverted minds. The expression of absolute bliss covering Sakura's flustered face as Tsunade suckled on her tiny breasts. And let her hand travel down the pink-haired girl's stomach delicately. Tsunade-sama. Sasuke shook his head. No, that's not my type of scene. Kakashi started to leave the room. If only Sakura was replaced with a certain blonde, and Hokage-sama replaced with me. Now that's a cock-twitching image. Back at the hospital, Shizune had a glare in her eyes as she turned the machine off. Sakura was crying into her knees. Naruto was holding her soft hand. You are about 3 weeks along, and you won't be able to keep this from her for very long. The angry lady left the room, with the pig snorting behind her. Sakura-chan. Let's go home, okay? We can watch sad romantic movies, and if you want, then you can tell me what happened. Naruto picked his best friend up and carried her out the door. Wait, Naruto, I must tell Tsunade. I love her, and this will be something that she will hate me for. Especially after she finds out who the father is. Sakura crawled out of the blonde's welcoming arms and walked away without another word. Sakura-chan, I hope everything turns out okay. But I have a bad feeling about this. Where's Kakashi-sensei? The blonde started out towards his sensei's apartment. As the blonde ran hurriedly past the Hokage building, he saw a silver head at the office window. Sensei. Naruto had jumped up there with him. Reading your porn, I see. Naruto came to a sudden stop as his eyes focused on something in the window. Naruto, what is it? Kakashi peeked in to see Sakura with tears in her eyes. The blonde bent below the window and pulled the wide Junin down too. You see, Sakura is pregnant with some guy's baby, and she is telling Granny about it now. So I came looking for you to talk to you about it because I have a bad feeling about this. Naruto pulled his sensei further down, so they couldn't see his spiky hair through the window. Kakashi, being the super sneaky and wide Junin that he is, unnoticeable, pulled the window open a crack so they could hear. On the other side of the window, Sakura had tears flooding through her eyes. Tsunade, I'm so terribly sorry. I did something horrible, and I hope that you can forgive me. Her brown eyes narrowed. Sakura, what did you do? She looked up at her lover. I cheated on you, and I'm pregnant as evidence. The sudden rage-filled woman threw her desk through the wall. Sakura, what did you just say? The startled, pink-haired girl fell backwards. I am so sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen. I swear. It was just. So, who is the father? The intense anger coming from the woman was enough to shatter the windows behind her. It's. Sakura sputtered nervously. The raven glared down at Sakura. Don't say anything. Naruto. Kakashi pushed Naruto down, covering him. The blonde opened his startled eyes to see a green vest. Sensei, are you okay? Kakashi's face was bent right next to Naruto's. The wide Junin had shards of the window penetrating his body randomly. That's my line. Anyways, are you okay? Kakashi pulled a piece from the side of his face. Yes, I'm fine, but you can't be fine because there is glass all over you. And the pieces of glass aren't even small. The blonde stood up and scolded his sensei. Don't worry, it's just a couple scratches is all. The silver-haired man noticed the blood on his student's arm. That's a lot more than a couple scratches. Naruto felt the pain in his arm and the heartbreaking words from the room. Sakura had her eyes closed from fear. The father is Sasuke. But please believe me when I say this. What did you just say? The crystal blue eyes were looking back and forth from his best friend to his boyfriend. Naruto. Sakura stood up, unable to function properly at this. Damn it, Naruto, I can explain. Sasuke started to walk towards the blonde. Kakashi grabbed Naruto's hand and pulled him from their sight. Come on Naruto. I'll take you to my place. The silver-haired man looked back with anger-filled eyes, daring them to try and get Naruto. The Uchiha ran out the window. Naruto. No, just no, not right now, Sasuke. The blonde had a tear come to the corner of his hurt eyes. Sensei. Let's go. The Junin obeyed the pained blonde's request. Okay. The blonde was running through the streets of Konoha, with the silver-haired Junin right behind him. Naruto, I know how you must be feeling right now. So stop running so fast. Sasuke isn't trying to get you right now. The copy nin grabbed the blonde's shaking wrist. Sensei. Naruto turned to face Kakashi's one disheartened eye. But I want him to chase after me. I want Sasuke to run for me because that way, I know that he cares. That sleeping with Sakura was a mistake and that he wants to be with me. That way I know that I'm not just some forgettable person he screwed around with. The tears leaving the blonde's sky-blue eyes were heartbreaking. I care for Sasuke so much, and he sleeps with Sakura. She is supposed to be my best friend. The tears were coming stronger as he fell to the ground. Naruto. Put your arms around my neck. I will carry you to my house. You won't have to move, talk or do anything. I will take care of you. The Junin slid his hand behind Naruto's back, and his other under the blonde's knees. The blonde, while feeling like a knife was just stuck into his heart, wrapped his arms around Kakashi's neck. Why are you willing to take care of me? The silver-haired sensei picked the blonde up slowly. Why wouldn't I? Naruto. I should have never let Sasuke get you in his grasp. I should have taken you for myself. That pain in your chest right now is my fault. I didn't protect you. I didn't protect you like I promised. Okay, sensei. The blonde snuggled his wet cheeks into his sensei's chest. Please, take care of me. When they arrived, the blonde took in his surroundings. Sensei. I thought you lived in an apartment. The Junin hopped though one of his windows with the blonde still in his firm arms. I moved into this house about 2 weeks ago. As you can see, there are boxes everywhere. The silver-haired man placed Naruto delicately on the couch. He stopped crying on the way here. What is Naruto thinking? Sensei, why didn't Sasuke run after me? The blonde had his knees to his chest. The Junin sat on the other side of the couch. Naruto, you told him not to. But Sasuke loves me, or I thought he did. So when you love someone and you hurt them, no matter what they say to you, you chase after them. Naruto laid his head on his knees. I know, so maybe Sasuke had a reason. Maybe this is just a misunderstanding. Try to think of the bright side while being realistic. Kakashi watched as the blonde's shoulders started shaking. Naruto looked up. How could I misunderstand that situation? How could I have misinterpreted what was said right in front of me? You even watched it and heard it all. So don't say something that could give me false hope. You don't want false hope? Then this is going to hurt a lot more than I planned, so I will tell it to you straight. You love your boyfriend, who slept with your best friend. They both lied, never planned on telling you. Sasuke and Sakura both acted like nothing happened the whole time. They both betrayed you. The two people you loved the most betrayed your trust. And now Sakura is pregnant with Sasuke's child. Even if you could overlook this one lapse of judgment between the two, that baby will always be there as a reminder. It will bond the two forever, it will start to kill you inside. Every time you see their baby, you will be filled with the pain and sadness from what they did. Kakashi's words were like a cannon that had just blew the biggest bomb it could muster. Right through his chest. Sensei is right. Of course I could forgive Sasuke and Sakura for doing this. I want to so badly. But there is a baby now. A child. A little kid running around with them for the rest of their lives. Could I trust the two of them ever again? The silver-haired Junin placed his fingertips under the blonde's chin and lifted up. But you haven't heard the whole story. The only way to know what's really going on is to talk to both of them. I know. Naruto tried to ignore the pain in his chest. He tried to ignore the tears that tried to escape from the corner of his eyes. But I don't want to face them. Not after this. Why did they do this to me? The silver-haired Junin stood up and walked out of the room. Should give him some space for right now. But, shouldn't this normally hurt more? Why is it that I've never really loved Sasuke as much as I say? I wanted to care for him more, but there was always this feeling that kept getting in the way. This feeling that came every time I see Sensei. Did Sasuke cheat on me because he noticed this? Did he even love me? I'm so terrible. I've been the one emotionally cheating on him this whole time. And now I am getting so upset about this. I love Sasuke but not more than Sensei. I have always loved Sensei. So why does Sasuke cheating on me hurt enough to make me cry? Why is there so much pain? Naruto. A deep voice startled the blonde, bringing him back from his thoughts. Sleep on it, it will be easier to think about after you sleep. The Junin had his vest and shirt off, with his mask still over his face. The blonde was looking over Kakashi's body, the blood that stained his skin. The couple pieces of glass still sticking out of him, along with the bandages he had in his large hand. Sensei, I'm sorry. You blocked me from getting cut by the shattered window, and now you're hurt. Naruto went over to his sensei, pulling a few pieces from his arm. The silver-haired man smiled wantingly under his mask. It's fine, Naruto. I thought we had established this already? Besides, like I said, it's just a couple scratches. No, they're not, especially on your hip right here. Please, let me clean your wounds real quick, since you don't seem to care about minor injuries such as these. The blonde forced his wise sensei into the kitchen. Okay, I'm moving. Kakashi cried out as the blonde mercilessly pushed in on one of the cuts on the Junin's back. The Junin pouted as he forcibly sat on top the table. Humph. Sensei, don't take that tone with me. If I knew that you would thoroughly take care of these so-called scratches, then I wouldn't be bothering. Naruto's hand hit the silver-haired man's hip accidentally, smearing a wet substance, as he scolded his sensei. OWW. Kakashi whined while running his hand through his hair. He can be so cu-tay when like this. Gah. Sensei, I'm sorry. The blonde yelled worriedly. Kakashi looked down to see what the blonde did while saying, what are you apologizing for now? There was blood dripping onto the table, and a large piece of glass broken on the floor. What did you do to me? I'm bleeding much more than I was just a minute ago. The copy nin eyed his hip. I'm starting to feel the pain now. Naru-chan. Punishing me for saving him. How cruel. I'm sorry, sensei. I'll stop it. The blonde's blue eyes suddenly ran over with tears. I am so sorry. Kakashi gently grabbed the blonde's shoulder. Naruto was wiping his eyes. I don't know what I'm going to do. I know that I'm not getting back with Sasuke after this, I'm ending it. But I don't want to lose him either. And I want nothing more than to forgive Sakura. It all just hurts to think about, like someone took a knife to my chest. Kakashi pulled the blonde into his embrace, holding Naruto to his bare chest. You're 19 now, you still have your whole life ahead of you to find someone who won't just throw you away like that cold bastard did to you. Plus, it's natural for you to want to forgive your best friend like this. You have a big heart, and forgive easily. As for the pain, you're going to feel a lot of it. When someone you love hurts you, it just takes some time to heal. But eventually the scars from that knife will go away. The blonde cried into Kakashi's hard chest. I don't want to hurt forever. That's why I'm here. I already said that I'll be taking care of you. I will definitely protect you this time. The Junin delicately kissed the top of the blonde's golden locks. Sensei. It's like you're going to be my guardian or something. Naruto sniffled as he slowly lifted his arms around his sensei's neck. I will be the guardian of your heart. The silver-haired man took a deep breath. Naruto's smell. His pulse, his breath, the way he is clinging to me. I mustn't take advantage of this situation. Let him go. He pushed the blonde back. Naruto. There is glass on the floor. Move so I can clean it up, or you will get hurt. Okay sensei. But your injuries? The blonde tried clean the blood from the table. Kakashi grabbed the blonde's hand. No need, I will take care of myself properly. Because you will worry if I don't. So go to bed, it's late. Naruto closed his eyes. Sensei, I want to take care of you. I'm the one who is supposed to take care of you though. Kakashi finished picking up the broken glass. You will. But at least let me patch this up. The blonde stood close to his sensei, wrapping the wound. There, all done. The silver-haired nin traced the side of the blonde's face. Thank you, Naruto. Naruto smiled, a small almost invisible smile. Yeah, well, you will be using the bed in the room at the end of the hallway. Good night, Naruto. Kakashi sent the blonde off with one last warm embrace. Night, sensei. The next morning Naruto, time to get up. The blonde felt a pressure on his legs as he opened his bright blue orbs. And there it was, a heap of YNESS just sitting on the golden-haired boy's lap. S-sensei? Naruto asked confused. Good morning Naruto. I have decided on some things last night. First one, you will be living with me from today onward. Second, we will be sharing a bed until we retrieve yours because that couch is very hard. Third, the blonde yawned sleepily. It's too early for this. Go away sensei. No, because the third thing is that we will be meeting Sakura and Sasuke in Tsunade's office in 1 hour. So get ready. The silver-haired man flicked the blonde in the head. OWW. And why? Did you set it up or something? Naruto whined, suddenly remembering the events of yesterday. No, one of the Anbu came by early this morning and told me. Kakashi. It's just way too early for this. The blonde sat up, leaning his head on his sensei's arm. I know. But get up anyways or I will drag you out of my bed. The Junin hopped out of his blonde's lap. I would like to see you try. The blonde said, daringly. Oh ho? Challenge accepted. The silver-haired Junin jumped the poor blonde, covering his sleepy face with kisses. Ah, Sene. Don't go lower. Ah, don't kiss there. Long story short, Naruto got out of bed. In the Hokage building, Naruto sighed. Wipe that grin off your face. I can't help it, my method of getting you out of bed made you so flustered. It was cute. Kakashi chuckled as his hand landed on the doorknob. Don't call me cute, sensei. Naruto stared at the door that held all of his future suffering and heartache. But you're my cute little Naru-chan. So should I open it yet? The Junin looked at the blonde, with understanding in his one dark eye. The blonde nodded his head. Yeah, let's get this over with. Kashi-chan. When they walked in, Tsunade was sitting at her desk. Sakura was standing beside the blonde woman and Sasuke was leaning against the wall, with all emotion erased from his face. You called, Tsunade-sama? Kakashi broke the silence. They both walked further up to her desk. Yes, I heard some very unappealing information last night from Sakura. The blonde woman's eyes furrowed. Naruto could feel their eyes on him. He looked down at Kakashi's hand. Just lying there by his leg, not moving. Peaceful looking. Naruto. Sakura has something to tell you. The silver-haired man's familiar, warming voice caught the blonde's attention. Sakura walked a little closer to the blonde. Naruto. First of all I'm sorry, and I want you to know that I love you with everything I have. So will you listen to what I have to say? Naruto looked into her deep green, begging eyes. What is it? She took a deep breath, as a tear came to the corner of her eye. I never willingly slept with Sasuke. He never actually had my approval when he took me that night. Naruto went wide-eyed. What the hell do you mean by that? Are you saying Sasuke raped you? No, not really. Well, let me explain. Sasuke placed a jutsu on me, that made it to where my body was willing. The jutsu made it to where he could control me, and even though my mind was unwilling my body followed whatever he wanted. And so he force-ably had with me. Sakura was looking Naruto in the eyes, pleading for forgiveness with her own. Sasuke, why the hell would you do that to Sakura? Why? The blonde turned, mortified by what he just heard. The raven activated his Sharingan. Why? Because she could give me something that you're incapable of. Which is an heir to the Uchiha clan. So you raped Sakura-chan, when you could just go out and find some slut that would willingly have your child? Naruto was breathing heavily as he stepped closer. Because I know Sakura would make a good mother. She is caring and a medic nin. Plus I didn't think that she would say anything about the little jutsu that I used on her either. But wasn't I wrong about that? The Uchiha looked over at the pink-haired girl annoyed. You're such a bastard. How dare you do that to Sakura-chan? I don't know why she didn't say anything sooner. It's like she blamed herself. Naruto sent a right hook into the raven's face before he could even flinch. The Uchiha was sent through the wall. He licked the blood from his busted lip. Come on Naruto, you can forgive me right? I love you so it shouldn't matter. And it's not like she died. Like some of the others I tried this jutsu on while I was with Orochimaru. Sakura turned out to be one of the lucky ones. You sick, sadistic jackass. Sakura-chan could have died? What the hell was this jutsu exactly? The blonde was after the heartless Uchiha again, but was stopped by a soft hand. Naruto, stop. I already forgave Sasuke, so it's okay. The green-eyed girl said delicately as she smiled a half-hearted smile. The blonde yelled furiously. How is this okay? Sakura-chan, there is no way. You may be able to forgive him, but I can't. I could have. But now that I've heard all of this, there just isn't any fucking way. Sakura hugged the blonde tightly. I love you so much. Sakura-chan. Naruto breathed in her familiar smell. Tsunade's evil presence was in front of the blonde and green-eyed girl. Naruto. Take Sakura home. Her eyes were shaded over with a sickness. Known as the pissed-off beyond repair sickness. The blonde stood up. What are you going to do? I have to punish the bad little boys that do greedy things. The aura around her turned cold, sending chills through everyone's bodies. Sasuke smirked. You can't touch me, you could ruin the village name if it got out. Tsunade smirked, reveling her hidden fangs. I'm the fucking Hokage, I can do whatever the hell I want. And that includes breaking the bones of bastards who mess with my pink-haired property. Kakashi laid his hand on the blonde boy's lower back. Let's escape while we still can. The three of them quickly hopped out of the broken window, as tons of Enbu started guarding the room. Tsunade pointed to each of the mask-wearing nin around her. You see all of them, right? Well, they are going to keep what happens in here a little secret. All for you, Sasuke. The raven moved back some, scared shitless. Shit. No one was talking, or saying anything. It was just silent. Sakura, Naruto and Kakashi arrived at the pink girl house. Naruto, Kakashi-sensei, do you want to come in? The green-eye girl asked quietly. Yeah, we're going in, besides. I've never been on the inside of your house before, Sakura. The Junin said with a sheepish look in his eye. Why do I get the feeling that Kakashi-sensei has an alternative motive? The pink-haired girl muttered under her breath. Naruto walked in as she opened the door, heading straight for the kitchen. The other two followed behind warily. The blonde sat in a chair on the table with his head in his hands. Naruto. Sakura whimpered out. Kakashi sat down next to the blonde, ruffling his golden locks in the process. Naruto looked at his warming sensei, then to the nervous pink-haired girl. Sakura-chan, tell me everything. Starting from when he used the jutsu on you. Okay. She took a seat at the table. It was about 3 weeks ago, when I was coming home from working at the hospital. Sasuke was waiting for me outside my house and he asked if he could come in and talk to me, so I let him in. I made tea and set out some cookies. Before I joined him at the table, I went to my room to change. It was when I had just taken my shirt off that I noticed Sasuke was there. When I turned around, he was standing in my doorway with his Sharingan activated and staring at me. My mistake was looking into his eyes. I was frozen. Then Sasuke made some hand signals and my body started to function again. I asked him what he was doing, but he just laughed and said, Sakura, this might hurt a bit. The next thing I know, is that Sasuke was laying me on the bed and removing my shorts and panties. Then he pulled his pants down and took one of the pictures I have of you from my dresser next to the bed and stared at it. Next, Sasuke was inside me. I tried to ask him to stop but I could no longer speak. He had complete control over my body. Except my mind. Which was very aware of what was happening. Sakura-chan, did it hurt? The blonde asked, afraid to look up at her. The pink-haired girl nodded her head slowly. Yeah, but only because I was a virgin. It would have hurt a lot more if he wasn't controlling my body's movements and reactions. Continue. The blonde lifted his head from his hands and looked at her. After he was done, Sasuke told me not to say anything about it and left. I laid in bed the rest of the night, unable to understand what had just happened. Then the next morning he came by and let himself in. I was still curled up in bed. Sasuke sat on the end of the bed and told me that he had some explaining to do. Sasuke said that he had with me because he wanted a child. He told me I was a perfect for a mother to raise it. Then he explained the jutsu out. He said that, this jutsu is something I made while working with Orochimaru. I tried it out on many different whores that I came across. Most of them died from the strain the jutsu put on their bodies. But after the second year, I finally made it to where the strain from my Sharingan wasn't so bad. And they slowly started to live, but the problem afterwards would be that they wouldn't get pregnant. I still don't know why they never got knocked up with my excellent sperm. But Sakura, you're lucky that you didn't die. I didn't hold back at all while screwing you into this soft bed of yours. Haha. Well, if you do end up pregnant with my child, consider yourself lucky. Then he just left. I didn't see him again until we met up for our week-long mission that we just got back from. Sakura had tears falling from her eyes again. Kakashi walked over to her and gave her a comforting shoulder hug. Why didn't you tell anyone what Sasuke did? The pink-haired girl just looked at her sensei hopelessly. I thought that, since no one had gotten pregnant yet, then it wouldn't work on me, and since I was only a little energy deprived afterwards, then there was nothing to worry about. I just didn't want to hurt. Naruto, I didn't want to see you get hurt. But now I'm going to be a mother, and you're still hurting. The blonde flinched at these words. Yes, Sakura-chan, I'm hurting, but not because of Sasuke cheating on me. I'm hurting because he hurt my best friend in ways I can't fully understand. Sakura, no matter what, you have always meant more to me than Sasuke. So for now on, Sasuke is not going to be an important person in my life. He hurt you and took advantage of you. I can't forgive that. I will never be able to forgive that sick bastard. Naruto. Sakura stood up and walked halfway to the blonde. I'm just so sorry. I still did wrong and hurt you so. No. Sakura-chan, I'm the one who should be sorry. I'm the one who did wrong here, so you should forgive me. I didn't see anything. I didn't notice anything. And because of this you were hurting all alone. You're my best friend. If you hurt, then I hurt. That's how it works. The blonde met his best friend halfway, bringing her into a bear hug, tears running down each of their faces. Naruto. I'm sorry. The pregnant girl cried into his shoulder. The blonde wrapped his arms around her tighter. I'm sorry too. The silver-haired Junin was standing off to the side and raiding the fridge. They are so cute. Maybe I should let them be for a while. Oh, and apple pie. In other places. Tsunade-sama. What in the world happened to Uchiha Sasuke? Some Anbu just brought him in a couple minutes ago. He is all torn up. The pig-wielding woman asked, surprised that the only Uchiha left in the world, with a huge god complex, got the crap beat out of him. I wonder. Let me take a look at the jackass. The blonde woman with the smirking brown eyes walked into the surgical room where the Uchiha was laid down at. Sasuke's head was bashed slightly along with a disfigured arm and blood pouring from his mouth. His skin was scarred with random cuts and bruises along with the bone sticking out of his leg. HMPH, my handiwork is pretty good. Wouldn't you agree, Shizune? Tsunade asked with a grin across her face. Yes, Tsunade-sama, wait, what? You did this? Why? I know you don't particularly like the boy, but that doesn't mean to. The Hokage held her hand up while anger spread across her perfect features. He raped Sakura. You know that she's pregnant. Sakura told me herself that you were the one who checked her out. So when she told me, she also told me about how it happened. I had to threaten it out of her because I knew Sakura wouldn't cheat on me. That girl loves me above and beyond. Shizune looked horrified. She was raped? Why didn't Sakura say anything? And the way I treated her when I thought she just cheated on you for no reason. I'm ashamed of myself. Sakura didn't say anything because of the way it happened. So you can just apologize later, but for now, I am going to continue to punish him until I've had my fill. Because no one messes with the ones I love. No one messes with Sakura, especially. Tsunade started to walk out of the room. Shizune, have the interns patch him up. Also, I want you to keep him sleeping for a while, okay? Ah yes, Tsunade-sama, I will. But his injuries are this severe. The interns shouldn't be. I said, let the interns scrape him together. You can keep watch over them if you really feel the need to. The blonde lady left the room, leaving Shizune terrified with the life-threatening glare. Oh okay. She called the interns to the room. Tsunade-sama. That look in your eye. I haven't seen that terribleness in years. Tsunade walked up to the front desk of the hospital. I'm done for the day, so I will be in the office till about 7 this afternoon, taking care of some business then heading home. Send Shizune if anything bad happens. So, I'm out. Hiya, Tsunade-sama, the front desk lady said politely. I hope they took Sakura home like I told them to. If not, then I'm going to have to beat my instructions into my favorite little blonde boy's head. Tsunade was walking up the steps to the house she shared with her pink-haired Smex machine. She walked in the door. Why is there a lingering smell of popcorn? Did Naruto stay over? Tsunade turned the corner leading into the living room. Hokage-sama, a deep voice said from the shadows. Kakashi, why are you still here? The brown-eyed lady looked at the jumbled couch. The blonde boy and pink-haired girl were laying on the couch together, with a bowl of popcorn tipped over on the floor. Naruto was laying on his back with his arms stretched out over his head, while Sakura sat between his legs. With her head resting on his stomach, and one arm wrapped around her stomach as the other hand laid next to Naruto's face. The silver-haired Junin came out of the dark corner of the room. Just watching over these two. You mean Naruto specifically, right? Don't think you can fool me with your emotionless eye. Now that Sasuke is out of the picture, this little blonde can be yours. Tsunade turned the television off, and started picking the spilled popcorn up. I have no idea what you're talking about, Tsunade-sama. Kakashi said with a playful tone in his voice and a smirk under his mask. The blonde lady smirked back. Sure you don't, Kakashi. Sure you don't. The silver-haired Junin stood next to the sleeping blonde, letting his fingertips dance over his shining golden locks. So when you say that Sasuke's out of the picture, what do you mean exactly? Well, let me put it this way. He's not gone yet, but I have my connections. So the little bastard will be out of our hair soon enough. Tsunade walked to the kitchen with her bowl of dirty popcorn. The Junin pulled his Icha paradise out. I see, so I'm going to take it that you have a plan to get rid of Sasuke. All that you need now is for everything to play out, right? The blonde woman pulled a scroll from a locked box. Yes. I have just a few cards to play and then it will all naturally fall into place. And you don't have to worry, Sasuke won't be leaving the hospital for a while now. I made sure of that. Wow. That smile you made while saying that was just plain demonic. What did you do to him? Kakashi took a step back. Oh, nothing really, just a couple broken bones. I had to teach him a lesson of how to really treat a lady. Tsunade closed her eyes, remembering the divine punishment she gave the Raven boy. Kakashi crept out of the room silently. Too much evil surrounding that woman, scary as hell. Don't want my little man to shrink from fear. Flashback tilde. Naruto and the other two had just left the room. Tsunade punched the Uchiha into the floor hard. Hokage-sama, shouldn't we remove his weapons first? Tenzo, one of the higher-up Enbu asked orderly. The blonde woman just laughed. There's no need. He won't be able to move after a few hits. Yes. Sorry Hokage-sama. Tenzo backed back into his spot. Now, shall we start your punishment game, Sasuke? Tsunade asked daringly. The Raven wiped the blood from his mouth. Game? Hey, the rules are. Tsunade ran her fingernails delicately under his chin. If you get a question wrong, then I break a bone. If you be a bad boy and talk in a disrespectful way, then I will smash your head through that brick wall over there. And if you lie, I will cut your junk off, so that you can never use your special, clan-reviving jutsu properly again. Got it, Sasuke? The Uchiha swallowed nervously. Yeah, nope. The blonde woman's hands grabbed the Raven's shirt and hit him head first through the wall. I said to talk respectively. So what should you be saying? Sasuke sat up from the pile of bricks. Yes, Mom, I understand. That's a good boy, Sasuke. You're learning. Tsunade grinned, revealing her fangs once again. Now, first question. Do you love Naruto? Sasuke was taken aback by this question. Yes, I do. Wrong. If you loved him, then you wouldn't have gone off sleeping with other guys while on separate missions from Naruto. Tsunade had a pained expression go across her face, while putting the tip of her foot onto his ribs. I never did that. And yes, I do love Naruto. The Uchiha argued, with a tight feeling in his stomach. You never did that? Then explain how the Anbu I had trailing you. Saw you screwing the random men into hotel beds and back alleyways among other places. She started to put a slight bit of pressure with her foot. I can't lie. So yes, I did. Sasuke glared into her soul. Good boy. I was about to cut your balls off with a spoon. But since you go the answer wrong to begin with. Tsunade pressed the tip of her foot in hard, breaking 2 ribs at once. Gah. More blood came flying from his mouth. Sasuke opened his eyes, staring the Hokage down. Why are you punishing me this way? It's so heartless. All emotion left the blonde Hokage's face. In order to punish the ones who have no heart, you must activate the heartless emotions within yourself. This way the satisfaction of their pain is so much greater. And the punishment sinks in so much deeper, within the ones who are being punished. She really seems like all human feelings left besides the one for my pain and suffering. I'm screwed. Shall we begin the next round? Her eyes flashed over with something horrid. End of flashback tilde. Tea Tsunade. A delicate voice whispered into the dark kitchen. The blonde woman was brought out of her wicked memory of earlier that day. Sakura, are you feeling all right? I could see that you and Naruto made up nicely. The pink-haired girl was fidgeting in place. Yes, I'm fine. I told Naruto everything earlier when they brought me home. Sakura, come here. Tsunade held her arms out, welcoming the girl into a hug. The green-eyed medic walked over slowly at first, then ran into the older woman's arms. Tsunade. She looked down at her younger lover. The tears that started pouring out again. Shush, I will make everything okay. Just wait a little longer. I love you, Sakura confessed, while crying into her lover's chest even harder. Tsunade held the broken girl delicately. Love you too. I love you, so much. Kakashi held the sleepy blonde in his arms. Wish that was me and Naruto. The Wyest sensei alive, took his little blonde and carried him home. Bridal style of course. Winking face. The rain, it was pouring outside of the silver-haired Junin's bedroom window. It just kept falling, all night long. It didn't start raining as soon as he returned to his new house, still filled with boxes. But about 10 minutes after the famous copy Nin lay down in bed next to his favorite blonde, it started to pour. Then not long after, it started to thunder and lightning. It was rather annoying to the silver-haired man, the pitter-patter of the rain on his rooftop. Along with the house-shaking bang that came from the sky every so often, not to mention the blinding bright lights that came soon after. But the only way that the Wyest sensei to ever walk the planet would know that all of these annoying things continued throughout the whole night is if he witnessed it. But of course the masked man did. Why, you may be wondering. Why couldn't the amazing Hitaki Kakashi sleep through a measly storm? Well, that might have to do slightly with the fact that the famous copy Nin had a famous blonde curled into his body the whole night. Last night couldn't have been any worse. Nothing could have tortured me more than this. If I would have just left Naruto sleeping like the wily little kitten he is, on the couch at Sakura's house, then I would have gotten some sleep. But no. God must really have it out for me. Kakashi stared at ceiling, muttering to himself, wondering when God might try to strike him down to his death. The silver-haired Junin was lying on the bed, on his back, trying his hardest not to make any sudden movements. The blonde had his arms wrapped around his sensei's hips, as his golden locks rested on the Junin's bare and defined lower area of his stomach. Naruto had one leg wrapped around Kakashi's as he breathed in deep, steady breaths. Kakashi let his fingers trace the blonde's shoulder blades. Your breath is so warm, and so close to the right place. I can imagine what your mouth would feel like. Wait, what am I thinking about at the moment? I'm such a pervert. But Naruto's mouth really would feel great. Kakashi smacked himself in the face. Okay, if I continue like this, then I'm going to get a hard-on. It's already everything I can do to stop myself already. Ah, how did this happen again? Kakashi having a flashback to the previous night. Kakashi was at the door of his house, trying to shuffle the key from his pockets in a jumping manner with a certain sleepy beauty in his arms. Ah, sensei? What's go? The blue-eyed boy said in a yawning manner. Sorry Naruto, did I wake you? Kakashi said apologetically while opening the door to his nice big house. Just a little bit too big for one person, if you ask me. Yeah, but it's fine. I'ma look around your house for a few minutes, then I will be hitting the sack. Why don't I just show you around, because I'm tired and can't go to bed till you do. Don't want you digging in my boxes, the porn would get discovered. The silver-haired Junin said, with no shame whatsoever. The blonde followed his perverted sensei down the hall. I have no reason to look at your porn. Kakashi turned to see his student's face, getting all fluttery from the talk of mere porn. Oh, really? But I have so many boxes filled with it. I would consider sharing. Naruto turned around quickly to hide the blush that suddenly devoured his face, and up to his ears. Oh, sensei. I don't need your porn. So no thank you. Foo so cute. The silver-haired Junin grabbed the black-covered shoulder that turned away from him. Come on, Naruto. I will stop messing with, so let me show you what's what in my place. Fine. Kakashi stopped at the end of the hallway and turned around to face the doors. These 3 doors here are the 2 bedrooms and 1 small bathroom, and upstairs is the master bedroom and bathroom, along with a storage closet. Which is where I sleep, the master bedroom, and we will both be sleeping tonight. You have already seen the kitchen and living room. They started up the staircase to see upstairs. This would be my fabulous bathroom. Kakashi used his gloved hands to push open the door, to reveal the inside. There was a large round bath, and 2 sinks. The toilet was on the side of the tub, separated by a short wall. Above the round bath was a mirror on the ceiling along with mirrors in front of each sink. Dang sensei. This is awesome, but the house is so big. Why would you buy something so big when it's just you living here? Naruto walked out of the bathroom as Kakashi closed the door. Because, I'm 33. I have plans of settling down with someone and maybe having a family with him. So I bought this house for the probability of the future. Is that weird to you or something? No, there isn't anything wrong with that. So this person. Have you found the person you want to settle with? Yes, I have. The problem is that he doesn't know yet. Not yet. The silver-haired man grabbed the handle to his bedroom lazily and opened it to reveal his queen-sized bed, open closet and 2 dressers, and a small table by the top of his bed with a couple boxes stacked in the corner of the room. He doesn't know yet? So you two aren't together? The blonde sounded a little too ecstatic. No, not yet. So you think, wait. You sensei, you are interested in guys? Naruto's jaw was slightly ajar, and his eyes glowing with complete and utter shockingly fantastic surprise. Yes. Was it not obvious? The silver-haired man pulled the covers back on the bed, while watching the blonde's facial expression. Which was a nice little mixture of a small blush growing gently on the blonde's tan cheeks. And content happiness spreading across his thin lips. Naruto. Anyways, you can go to bed now. Kakashi poked the blonde's forehead. He flinched. Why yeah, I'm going to bed now. Night sensei. Night Naruto. I'll be downstairs for a minute but we'll be back up here shortly. The silver-haired man was smiling under his mask, as he made his little ass down the stairs. A few minutes later, the masked nin came back upstairs and closed the door behind him. When his eye made its way to looking at the bed, the dark pupil saw a sleeping blonde. Shirtless, and in his green and black checkered boxers, snuggled into Kakashi's pillow. Naruto. Took my pillow. Challenge accepted, you little thief. The silver-haired Junin had always been surprised by how fast the blonde could finish off his food, repeatedly, and by how fast he could fall asleep anywhere. But that wasn't the only thing that hit the famous copy nin. Another thing was how adorably cute the 19-year-old looked cuddled up to his pillow. The way the moonlight flickered across his tan skin, as the clouds moved slowly past its shining light. How his stomach slowly pushed out, then falling back in. The way his soft muscle outlines came to focus, as he moved ever so lightly. Readjusting his comfortableness on the soft bed. Sleeping like a fallen angel. Now, just gently remove the pillows from his arms. Kakashi thought to himself as he started to pull the pillow from the bottom, hoping to not wake the sleeping beauty in his bed. Okay, putting up a fight I see. He continued to try and pull the black pillow-cased pillow from the tan boy's arms. He started to tug harder. And a little bit harder. Then harder. Boom. Aha. Kakashi started to do a little happy dance where he stood, congratulating himself for retrieving his darling pillow. The copy nin placed his pillow where it should be and crawled into bed, delighted to get some sleep after the very long day of many monstrosities. But that was not the case. As Kakashi closed his eyes and started to drift, he felt a mysterious feeling plop on top of his chest. The rain started to fall from the dark, starry sky. As he looked down, the unfamiliar plop was the blonde head of his bedmate. Naruto. He is sleeping, huh? Kakashi gently started to move the not-so-unwanted head from his chest. But then he felt the blonde's lengthy arms trail over his waist. Oh, great. He must be the snuggle type. The blonde's mouth was open slightly, letting liquid slip out freely. Well, if I move him then he's just going to come back, probably. Kakashi thought as he put his hand to his head, wiping the sweat away. It's hot. Naruto has always given off a lot of body heat, more than the average person does. Kakashi relaxed his body while closing his eye. Maybe he could get some sleep? Not a chance in hell that was going to happen. Not when the older Mont's favorite student, person, life form, was clinging to his body unconsciously. 2 hours later, there was sweat sticking the Junin's spiky silver hair to his forehead, accumulating into the small of his back, and gathering on his arms. which were covered by the sleeves from his regular Junin shirt. Why didn't I just sleep half naked like Naruto did? This would be so much easier. Kakashi sighed as he let his hand fall onto his chest next to the sleeping 19-year-old head. As the copy nin's hand pressed a little into his shirt, he felt a wet substance. What is this? Kakashi looked down with regretting curiosity. That's where he saw the opening in the sweet blonde's mouth and the little bit of saliva coming out. They do say, curiosity killed the cat. The silver-haired man sat up, letting Naruto's head slid down his chest, causing the blonde's arm to hold on tighter. As the other arm made its way around the Junin's back. Damn, more complicated, Kakashi muttered as he slid his shirt off and pulled his pants down some, then kicking them off the rest of the way. He was wearing simple black boxers, with the village symbol etched in at random places. Ah, that's so much better. Kakashi sighed happily, laying himself back down. I'm to Y for the likes of drool. My poor shirt, suffering such a tragic thing. End of Kakashi's flashback. There was movement at the Junin's legs as he yawned, so that's how it happened. How what happened? Naruto had one eye opened lazily as he looked at his sensei. How? I couldn't sleep last night. Due to various, warm, reasons. Kakashi looked at the blonde, who laid his head back on the bottom of the Y Junin's stomach. Sensei, what's for breakfast? I'm hungry. My tummy if crying silently for some food. There's something very close to your face, that would be perfect for the both of us, if you had it for breakfast. Oh, I don't know. There's not any food in the fridge or cabinets yet, and I never really cook. Anything. The silver-haired man yawned once again, under his dark, imagination-pricking, mask. And not even ramen, the blonde said with tears coming to the corner of his eyes. Nope, not even ramen. But I'm sure you can deal. No, never. Someone who doesn't even cook ramen for themselves must be unhealthy. The blonde started to squeal, annoyingly loud for it to be 6 in the bloody morning. No, that's why I have this perfect body. Because I don't eat ramen 24/7 like somebody I happen to know. The Y-man said with pure confidence in his voice. What are you trying to say? That you might have abs like me, if only you didn't eat ramen every day for every meal in your entire life. The silver-haired man smirked mockingly, under his mask. So cruel. Well, I don't want abs if it means I have to give up ramen. Besides, I'm already surpassed you in power, sensei. I don't need abs to take you on. HMPH. Kakashi flicked the blonde's head. Don't, HMPH, your sensei. Maybe if you had abs then you could have passed the Chunin exams already. What does having abs have to do with passing the Chunin exams? The only reason I haven't yet is because I failed the first time, then the village was attacked by Akatsuki, then the events leading up to the war, then the war itself. Then we had to convince Sasuke to come back. And ever since then they haven't held one due to the aftermath of the war. The blonde looked down from his sensei, remembering how he was able to bring Sasuke back in the end. Naruto's eyes shaded over with saddening regret, as the emotions took over his face. That's when Sasuke said, that the only way he would come back, is if he was with me, if I belonged to him from now on. That was his condition. Did I really have a choice in the matter? After all, I did promise Sakura that no matter what I had to do, I would bring Sasuke back for her. It was a promise of a lifetime. No choice. The silver-haired man rubbed the blonde, who was still attached to him, on the back. Naruto, how about we go get some ramen from Ichiraku for breakfast? Since you are so fond of his ramen after all. This brought Naruto back, from the confusing memories from 2 years ago. Ah, yeah, Ichiraku ramen is the very best I've ever had. But you're treating me, sensei. Oh ho ho ho. I think not. You will treating me, to make up for all the drool your mouth happily gave my stomach throughout the night. Kakashi carefully ran his hand over his stomach to make sure it was still dry. All clear. The sensei let out a great full sigh. What are you talking about all knee? Naruto suddenly noticed everything. The way he was laying on his half-naked sensei, and how he, himself was half-naked. Then the small fact that he drooled all night on his sensei's delightfully amazing stomach, kicked the chair from under his large feet. Ah, I'm sorry sensei. I sort of forgot to warn you of a couple things. The blonde jumped right up, tearing his arms out from around his sensei. The silver-haired Junin just stayed there, laid back looking. What would those things be? Naruto fell over to the other half, at the bottom of the bed. I forgot to warn you that I have a problem with holding on, and I guess you could call it snuggling. That's what Sasuke always called my touchiness while asleep. And then, unless I sleep on my back, I tend to drool. The blonde had his face covered with the edges of the blanket. Kakashi chuckled, deeply. Aha, it's okay Naruto. And the drool, well, I will just make sure you don't use my pillows, so just go ahead and use me, I guess. Ah, did Sensei just say that I could sleep on him? That is so. Oh god. I can feel the heat in my cheeks. Naruto hid farther under the blanket. There was movement on the bed as Kakashi said, "Get dressed, I will pay for breakfast." As soon as he heard the door click shut from his sensei leaving the room, the blonde broke out from the blankets. Like a fish flying through the water. Aha hhhhhh. Did I seriously do all that last night? What happened? Did I do something that made it to where he couldn't sleep? Ah, I'm so terrible. A terrible student. Who does this to their sensei? There was a knock on the door. Naruto, stop yelling in there and get dressed like I told you. If you need clean clothes, just borrow some of mine till we retrieve yours. Yes sensei. Naruto hid back under the blankets, popping his head back out. He heard me say all that. I need to learn how to whisper. Later tilde. Ichiraku-san, I'm back with Kakashi-sensei. The ramen-loving boy yelled happily, with the silver-haired sensei right behind him. Ah, Naruto-kun, welcome back. How did your mission go? Ayame asked all cheerfully, since their number one customer returned to them. It went well. We completed it successfully. Team 7 is just that good. Naruto and Kakashi sat next to each other at the bar. Naruto, it's you. What would you like to order today? Tucci, the restaurant owner, came from the back. The regular. What about you sensei? The blonde was practically jumping from his twisty seat. But can you blame him? The poor thing hasn't had his favorite ramen in over a week. Kakashi nodded his head while saying, the same as Naruto, thank you. No problem, Kakashi-san. Ayame smiled happily while stirring up noodles. So Naruto, where's Sasuke? You two are always together, but of course it's because you two are in a relationship. The shop owner asked curiously, not knowing of the damage behind that one specific name. The blonde looked down at the table, the feeling of dismiss surrounding him. No, me and Sasuke broke up. We are no longer together. Tucci went wide-eyed as he brought his in over the counter to Naruto's shoulder. I'm sorry. He whispered something to his daughter, Ayame, as he brought out 2 empty bowls. Naruto still stared into the wooden features of the counter, gripping his fists in his lap. Sensei, what did Granny do to him? Naruto brought his voice down to a hushed whisper. Kakashi looked over to the blonde, gently breathing in. I don't know exactly, but he is in the hospital, so maybe if you want to go visit him, then we can. Maybe Sakura should go see him too. I don't know. But if Sakura-chan wants to visit, then I will be going with her. She shouldn't be without me. There's no way I will let Sasuke hurt her further. Naruto, you really love Sakura, don't you? The masked nin's one uncovered eye smoothed over with something magical. Yes, she is that one thing I must never lose. Sakura is just so special. She is my best friend. The person who knows me the best, and would do anything for me. Sakura has proven herself to me, so many more times than needed. I can't even fully express how much she means to me. So when Sasuke tries to contaminate her like this, when he tries to ruin her perfectness, it makes me hate him more and more every time I think about it. Naruto had a tear come to the corner of his pure blue eyes. Trying to escape into the cruel world. Kakashi bowed his head. I see. If it would have been someone else, then you would probably still be with Sasuke. You could have forgiven it, but since it was with Sakura you. Naruto turned his chair towards the older man, looking at him with his lost, blue eyes. No, not just anyone. If he would have done anything to you, sensei, then I definitely couldn't forgive it. Because sensei is special too. I love sensei, a lot. Naruto. Kakashi started to move his hand to the younger boy's face. Here you go. The regular for Naruto-kun and same for Kakashi-kun. But Naruto-jun, this is a little extra mixed into yours. Ayame put their orders in front of them, not noticing the mood surrounding the student and teacher. The blonde quickly turned to his bowl, his face flushed. Ah, food. I'm so hungry. Thank you, am I? Nom 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 nom. Sounds of the adorable blonde chowing down, winking face. Naruto, so I'm one of those special people. Brings me one step closer to healing, what he wanted admit out loud, or to himself. The both ate their meals in silence. 8 bowls later. Are you ever going to stop? Kakashi looked desperate as he pulled out his wallet. Naruto grinned, await a happy grin. I guess I shall stop for now. Besides, I don't eat that much for breakfast. Makes me feel funny when I go to train later. It's because you don't have abs. The silver-haired Junin smiled sheepishly with his one eye. Whaaa. What does not having abs have to do with anything? Why are abs so special? The blonde's irritated yells filled the small restaurant. Because abs are magical. Especially my abs, and if you had abs they would be magical too. But sadly you don't have it. Maybe it's because you don't believe enough. Tisk. Kakashi sounded way too serious to be 36 and saying these things. How do you know my abs would be magical? Because, I'm your sensei. So I pass on the magic of the abs. But of course, not everyone can have magical abs. I got the magical-ness from your father, who got it from Lord Jiraiya. Basically we all had abs at one time, and the magic was passed down from generation of abs to the next. Do you understand, Naruto? You look confused. Kakashi paid, and got up from the chair. I'm not quite sure. Sensei, you are confusing, very, very confusing and disturbed. The blonde obediently followed his sensei out the small restaurant. It's because you don't have abs. So you don't understand the ab logic. Poor Naru-chan. Kakashi patted the blonde's head, like he was a puppy that wanted to be fed. Quote. Sensei. There is something wrong with you and your ab logic. You need sleep, so let me take you home. There, you need to go to sleep. Sleep. The blonde started pushing his sensei towards his house. But Naru-chan, I don't want to go to bed yet. Kakashi crossed his arms, letting the blonde drag him through town. Damn it, sensei. You're just like a 6-year-old. A rather 6-year-old. Now I sound like a pedo bear. Damn you, Kakashi. Sensei. You should have slept longer than that. I mean, the magical abs? They were from just sleep deprivation, right? The blonde walked next to his favorite sensei, looking at his masked face, questioningly. Kakashi hunched his shoulders and let out a small chuckle. No, my abs are still magical. Much more magical than yours will ever be. The blue-eyed boy grabbed his sensei's elbow, dragging him back. Okay, you're going back to sleep. Apparently 5 hours wasn't enough for you. Maybe it's because I didn't sleep the full 5 hours. Naruto. It's fine. Besides, you're just stalling. We are on the way to ask Sakura if she would like to join us in visiting Sasuke, because you decided to. The Junin shoved his hands in his pockets, with an annoyed look in his one dark eye. Naruto stood in place looking back at the silver-haired man, with as much annoyance. HMPH, can't we just go back to your place? I'm hungry also. Well, we could do that. But will you ever be able to get past this troublesome mountain ahead? The masked man was staring directly at the blonde, looking into his deep ocean blue eyes as the sparkle left. Fidgeting, as a tint of red ran over his scarred cheeks, Naruto asked, What do you mean? Mountain? I mean, if you don't see him now, then you probably won't later either. At this rate, you're going to start making excuses as to not see him, then nothing will ever get better. You could try to wait till he comes out of the hospital, but by then, I have a feeling it may be too late. Why? Why would it be too late? It's not like he's leaving the village or anything. Wait, sensei, do you know something? The blonde's eyes furrowed, suspiciously. Kakashi turned away from his student, closing his one uncovered eye. No, I don't know anything that you would want to know. Also, what if Sasuke was to die suddenly? Even if he did something almost unforgivable to Sakura, you can't just erase your emotions for him like that. Those emotions will stay with you until they are properly dealt with. So that means, seeing Sasuke again. You love him, even if you think you don't. And before you could tell him how you feel about this whole situation, before you could clear the air between the two of you, he dies. That's something you would never be able to forgive yourself for. I don't love Sasuke, and if he was about to die, then I wouldn't care. So it would be a good thing to not visit in the end. I wouldn't regret it. The silver-haired Junin looked up at the blonde, watching the pained expression carve into the blonde's tan features. You may be able to lie to yourself, but you can't deceive me, Naruto. Even if he did the hurt your best friend, you will continue to care for Sasuke no matter what. It's just the type of person you happen to be. But what Sasuke did is unforgivable. A tear of confusion, pain, and sadness dripped down the blonde's tan cheek, falling from his jawline onto the ground, sinking in and slowly disappearing. The Junin placed his hand on the side of the Naruto's face. The unforgivable things that happen can always be forgiven. You just have to let the bad things have some room and breathe a little. His blue eyes grew wide as a new light came to show. The unforgivable can be forgiven? A familiar high voice spoke, with a small supporting smile on her pink-tinted lips. Naruto, you should go. I want to come with you to visit him. This voice, the lovely voice of one specific person who would always mean the world to one particular blonde. Sakura-chan? Naruto spurted out startled. Kakashi had the hand that touched his blonde, held out and staring at it. I'm such an idiot. It feels like I'm rooting for them to get back together. Which is something I don't want at all. So, what is it that I want? I know what Sasuke did wasn't right. But still, he's a part of Team 7, and we worked too hard to lose him now. The pink-haired girl, dressed in her casual wear, showed up from the woods. Naruto ran up to his best friend, taking her hand. But Sakura-chan, have you forgiven him, for hurting you? Sakura's pink, wavy locks blew in the light breeze. I haven't forgiven Sasuke yet, because I can't do it on my own. If it was just me, and you weren't in the picture, then yeah, he would be forgiven. But Naruto, Sasuke broke your heart somewhere deep. Right now, it can't be fixed no matter how much I wish. And that, your heart being broken because of him, is the reason I can't let this go. Yeah, he raped me, but I felt no pain and there's a child now. It's hard to look over everything. But I can do it. Sakura-chan, my heart isn't broken. I'm angry and upset because of what he did to you. You were experimented on by him, now you will have his child. He put a burden on you that will last a lifetime. Sakura-chan, this is so much more than a simple heartbreak. She tossed his hand to the side, with a tear coming to her pure green eyes. Naruto, what he did, just forget about it for 2 seconds and remember that he has been your everything for the past 2 years. You love him, but instead of admitting that all this hurts you, instead you deny it all, and you think it's for my sake, don't you? Well, all of this confusion that you are going through hurts me too. Naruto, you're my best friend. When you hurt, I hurt. When you cry, I cry. And if you can't bring yourself to feel the pain that's in your heart, then I can't either. If you suffer, I suffer. That's how we work. The blonde fell into her thin arms, breathing heavily as he tried to choke back the tears that so desperately wanted out. So you're saying the more I push this whole thing to the side and don't deal with it properly, the more you hurt? The green-eyed girl sniffled, brushing her fingers through his blonde locks. It's okay. Be you, but promise me one thing. Crystal, ocean eyes met with the forest green, both busting into waterworks. What? I'll promise you anything, Sakura-chan. Then promise me that you will come back out at the end of everything. The same person as you were before all of this happened. Don't let Sasuke change who you are, because my Naruto is too special. The blonde wiped his eyes with the sleeve of his jacket. Of course, it's a promise. Naruto and Sakura stood side by side, wind picking up and blowing through their hair. Okay, Sakura-chan, let's go then. Sensei, we're leaving to visit him. The silver-haired Junin watched as Naruto put up his normal front. A front that showed that one smile, that one grin, that one special shining determination that light up his whole body. Along with everyone around him. That front that made Kakashi so sure that everything would turn out okay in the end. But would time really be that nice, as to let it all end in a happily ever after? Or will it all come to a crashing end? Tilda. Just 2 more steps, extend your arm. You can do this, it's just a door. Naruto stood outside the critical care room, number 4. The walls down this certain hallway that a perverted sensei, muscle extravagant girl, and blonde-headed boy were different from the rest of the hospital. The walls were painted black, and the door looked so fake. Like it was only a brown mob plastered onto the black surface. It doesn't even look real. Maybe we should. The blue-eyed blonde, fidgeting with his feet, seemed nervous and out of place. No, Naruto. We went through the trouble of coming here, so let's just walk in. Sakura seemed just as nervous as her blonde friend right by her side. The silver-haired sensei stood behind the two, watching them. I have a feeling that neither one of them will ever open this door. The fake, plastered-looking door started to move, opening to reveal a pure white room, white walls, white bed frame, and white window curtains among other things. In front of them stood a tall, blonde, pig-tailed lady. Aggravation tracing around her brown eyes. Why are you three here? Sakura, Tsunade. We are here to see Sasuke's condition. The little pink-haired girl spoke up, shivers going down her spine. Kakashi went between the two of his students, looking up at the firm woman. Hokage-sama, please let them pass. What's with the strange look in Kakashi's eye? Suspicious. Tsunade stepped back into the room, leaving space for them to come in. Naruto and Sakura stepped in together, both of their eyes hitting the broken and bandaged body at the same time. Oh, the green-eyed princess gasped with devastating surprise. My god, Sakura-chan, that's Sasuke? What the hell did Tsunade do to my only failed student? Therese, not a single area on his body that isn't bandaged up. Kakashi stood in front of Naruto's line of vision, looking at the blonde, seeing him frozen from what seemed like fear and regret. Tsunade-sama, what did you do to Sasuke? Sakura yelled, disbelief accumulating within her. Sakura, calm down. I will tell you what happened later, but for now, I need to talk with Naruto about some important matters. The older woman embraced her younger lover with an emotionless hug. After all, the fifth Hokage couldn't have much emotion in her at the moment, because of what she planned on doing. This would be the best time to do this. I'm sorry, Naruto, but before it will get better, it must get worse. Shizune, close the door. Tsunade ordered. As the door clicked shut, her beady brown eyes landed on Naruto. Ba-chan, what did you do to him? The blonde silently asked, barely above a whisper. Naruto, while I was punishing Sasuke, I found out some information, some things I really wish that he hadn't said. These are things you should know about before you and Sakura try to make yourselves forgive this bastard. Tsunade said this as she stood by the window, that was closed shut. You couldn't see anything through the snow-white curtains. Just the bright light that tried to make its way through. What is it? Naruto was barely able to mumble out. For the past 2 years Sasuke has been cheating on you with random men and women, while out on missions that weren't with you. Sasuke has been lying to you about the type of relationship he had with Orochimaru. Anytime you asked what he had been doing that day, his answer was probably a lie. Naruto, he used you to get everyone to accept him back in the village. Sasuke used your heart so he could collect test subjects freely for his new jutsu. All of this was said without care or consideration. Her voice, cold and shattering. What are you talking about, Ba-chan? How would you even know any of this? Did you force Sasuke to say any of that? Or maybe you're just lying to make me forget his existence? Naruto couldn't believe the words he was hearing. How could his Sasuke have done all that? His Sasuke loved him for the past 2 years and longer. How could he believe words that sounded so much like lies? How? Lies? Why? Tsunade walked over to the shaken blonde. Naruto. Her voice sounded more caring and apologetic for laying it all out on him at once. No warning. Not a bit was sugar-coated. Just, all there. Those words, she said without care. Engraved into the blonde's mind. Explain it to me, or I won't believe you. Tell me your reasoning behind all of it. The blue-eyed boy, staring at the raven's rapt and sleeping face. The tall, blonde woman sighed, shaking her head. Okay, I've had Anbu tracking all of Sasuke's movements outside of the home he shared with you. For the past 2 years, we've been watching him. That means every time he screwed some guy in a back alley or hotel. Every time he slept with a woman in her house, controlling her with his jutsu. And, I know that Sasuke was in a relationship with Orochimaru during those 3 years he was gone. Sasuke told you that he'd waited for you. All those years, hoping you would love him back. Remember that? I was there, and so was Sakura and Kakashi as witnesses. Remember how he told you that he didn't mess around, that he loved you only. Do you remember every lovely thing Sasuke has ever told you, and think about it? He stuck to you so hard when you first brought him back to Konoha. Then as everyone started to accept him, he was sticking to you less and less. You may be wondering how I know all of this, but it's because I love you, Naruto, like you're my own little brother. The blonde was frozen, taking it all in, all at once, repeating everything in his mind, over and over. And over again. I've had Anbu tracking all of Sasuke's movements. He screwed some guy in a back alley, or hotel. That he loved you only. Less and less. You have to be lying. How? Sasuke really did love me. I know he did. There's no way that any of this was fake. It can't be possible. None of it can be. None. Naruto, close to breaking down. Tsunade, holding back her tears. Keeping the bad guy front on, as the blonde crumbled before her. Sakura, split between right and wrong. Watching as the love of her life destroyed her best friend. Kakashi, using everything he had to hold himself back. Trying not to take his blonde and hide him from the evils of the world. Naruto. Kakashi had his gloved hand stretched out to the blonde's arm, ready to pull the boy into a warm and comforting embrace. I can't. Naruto stuttered, unable to look back at his sensei. Unable to look any of the others in the eye. Not his best friend. Not his best friend's lover. Not his sensei. With this last word, the devastated blonde forced the door open, rushing out of it. Kakashi, left there hanging, ran through the crushed door. Followed by Sakura and the woman who caused the fleeting trouble. Naruto. The pink-haired girl yelled, losing hope as she realized the blonde wasn't in sight. The silver-haired man leaned against the wall, sending his gloved fist through it. Pieces of cement were sent flying out of the black wall, blood dripping from his knuckles. Damn it, Naruto. Sensei. Sakura gasped from the anger surging through her teacher. Tsunade had a tear going down her regret-filled face, hating herself. Kakashi. You're supposed to be his Prince Charming. Naruto dropped his glass slipper. You need to return it. Return it before it's too late. With this, Kakashi pulled his fist from the crushed wall, leaving seconds later, chasing the one thing that makes life worth living for him. Merp. Tilda. It was hours later, the silver-haired Junin had searched the whole village. He had climbed over every rooftop, ran down every dark alley. Searched every house of the blonde's friends. Searched his own and Sasuke's. There was no sign of the blonde anywhere. Naruto, where are you? Kakashi fell on his steps, exhausted, using his last even breath to yell out his special student's name. Minutes later, the Junin got up and walked through his house door. As the silver-haired man turned the corner into his kitchen, there were more boxes laid onto the table. What is this? The masked man muttered. As Kakashi took a closer look, he could see multiple outfits of orange and black tracksuits in one box. Different weapons scattered in another box, and two closed boxes among the opened ones. The silver-haired Junin's hand slid on the table as he went around the table, circling it. Slit. What's this? The confused sensei looked down to see blood dripping from the tip of his finger, onto a white paper. A paper with words on it. Paper cut. Damn paper. Kakashi picked it up, blood smearing the corners of the paper. What the paper said: Hey Kakashi-sensei. Don't think I can stay in the village any longer. At the moment at least. So I picked my stuff up from Sasuke's house. Would you mind putting them up for me at your place? I would rather not have to deal with the troubles of unpacking when I come back. I don't know when I will return, but I figured that I should escape for a while. Anyways, I understand that Sasuke has done some bad things, and it hurts. Sensei, it feels like my heart has been torn in two, ya know. And I'm confused. Nothing makes any sense. Well, I should leave before the tears start coming too hard. Sensei, I'm going to miss you. So make sure to eat plenty of ramen, and goodbye. Sensei. Naruto. Kakashi fell back into a chair, his one unmasked eye watering over. Damn it, Naruto. I can see your teardrops all over the paper. It smeared the ink. When will you return? The silver-haired man read over the note one more time, as the one tear fell onto the paper. This tear didn't disappear. It had been 2 weeks. Naruto, the blonde loved dearly by many. He had been gone a few, selfishly long weeks. The rain was pouring, for a matter of fact. The rain hadn't stopped since the blue-eyed boy ran off. Sakura, please calm down. The blonde Hokage sat at her desk, sighing and shaking her head. The pink-haired girl paced back and forth across the office, breathing heavily. Are you seriously telling me to calm down after you pushed my broken-hearted best friend to run away? Tsunade stood up at her desk, her face hardening. You know that having Naruto run away was never my intention. Then what was your intention? breaking his heart even further than it was? What could you want to possibly achieve by telling Naruto that Sasuke cheated on him multiple times? That Sasuke only used him and that he never really loved him to start with? What could you accomplish with all of that? Sakura thrashed out, her green eyes filled with anger. The reason I told Naruto all of this is so that maybe, by some chance, he can erase Sasuke from his heart. The pink-haired girl slammed her fist into Stunade's desk. How the hell? You know how Naruto is, and how he feels about Sasuke. Even though he was pissed at Sasuke for hurting me, the love Naruto has for that bastard. Sakura, cracks went down the center of the wooden desk as Tsunade called out her younger lover's name. Don't even say my name. Naruto is forgiving when it comes to Sasuke, he has always been. You know this, better than the rest of us. Do you remember when you put out the order for Sasuke's death? Who stopped it, almost dying himself? That would be Naruto, risking everything for Sasuke, before he even started to love him like he does now. So Naruto will forgive all of this. He loves Sasuke, when he loves anyone, no matter what they do. Naruto will love them anyways. So how could you think that Naruto of all people would hate Sasuke? Sakura lifted her clenched hands from the broken desk, as it fell in half. Tsunade's lips started to waver, as she watched the papers fly around her younger lover. You will understand soon enough, just be patient. Just wait. Sakura, this will all come together in time. The pink-haired girl looked down to the ground, a single tear crawling down her pale face. Then tell me, what your plan is. I hear you say things like this, and I want to know. No, I need to know. What is your plan for getting rid of Sasuke? Because I know that's what you're trying to do. Tsunade took a hopeful step forward, towards her younger lover. No, I can't tell you the details of what will happen. Sakura's green eyes burned into Stunade's brown orbs. You can't, or you won't. I don't want you to know. The younger medic Nin turned around, as more drops of clarifying tears fell from her pain-filled eyes. You can be such a bitch? Tsunade went wide-eyed from surprise, as her younger lover ran from the room. Damn it, Sakura, damn it. The brown-eyed woman sat back in her chair, holding her hand over her eyes. Tsunade-sama, Shizune came through the door, to see papers all over the room. The large wooden desk broken in half, and her senpai laid back in her chair. Tears rolling from under her fair-skinned hand. Shizune, close the door on your way out. Shizune stepped closer, looking at the papers that she held, debating on whether or not to give them to the dismantled Hokage. But there are these paw. Tsunade squeezed the arm of her chair, shattering it. I said, to close the door on your way out, Shizune. The black-haired girl backed out of the room. Oh, I'm okay. Sorry Tsunade-sama. Derp tilde. Kakashi-senpai, Naruto will come back. The note that he left said he would, so you should rest. Yamato, the ex-leader of Team 7, was standing behind his drenched senpai. I can't stop. Naruto is an important member of my team, my life. Even if the note he left me said he would come back, but it didn't say when. Naruto is hurting with no one there to save him. I am supposed to be that person. I am supposed to protect him from all this. The silver-haired Junin, panting, and leaning against a tree just hoping that he could find his special blonde. I know that you love Naruto. I know this better than anyone. But working yourself to this extent, just to find him. Kakashi-senpai, if he doesn't want to be found then you're not going to. He has surpassed us greatly and learned so much that Naruto could stay hidden very easily. Kakashi closed his eye, sighing heavily. So what are you saying, Tenzo? Yamato's brow furrowed with aggravation. Please, not that name. It's Yamato now. But to the point. When Naruto wants to be found, then he will make himself findable. So I should just stop searching. I should just wait obediently until he returns home? Is that what you're saying? Kakashi, we're in the middle of the woods, it's pouring out here. We're soaked to the bone, let me take you home. Yamato grabbed Kakashi's shoulder sympathetically. I'm not done searching today, and I can make it back home on my own. Don't need a personal escort. Yamato held on tighter, not letting go. No, you're going home. Now come on, I'm not against using pure force. Tenzo, why won't you just leave me be? All I want is to find Naruto, so I'm not going to give up until I do. Plus, we both know that when it comes to pure force, then I would kick your ass. Kakashi shrugged the ANBU's hand off his shoulder angrily. Yamato sighed a hopeless-filled sigh. I'm doing this because Tsunade-sama and Sakura are worried about you. For the past 2 weeks you have been home once, and to Hokaga's office twice. The only thing you have done for the past 2 weeks is search for Naruto. Take a break, like I said before. Naruto will return when he's ready. Kakashi filled the distance between the two shinobi. Tell me the real reason why you're trying to get me back home to rest. The brown-eyed shinobi glanced to the ground and back to his senpai's face repeatedly. The real reason? Well, because they are worried about you and because I am too. And because, I still care. We might be over, and you might be in love with someone else, but I haven't forgotten a single day that I was with you. Kakashi looked slightly stunned and regrettable, while looking directly into the brown eyes across from him. Tenzo, I'm sorry. The younger shinobi rubbed the back of his head, smiling a clearly fake smile. Rays of blush, running over his exposed cheeks. That's the first time you've said sorry. But seriously Kakashi-senpai, don't call me Tenzo. That name is a complete part of my past now. The silver-haired Junin ran his fingers through his soaked hair. You're not supposed to forget your past, Tenzo. But I understand and I will go home right away. Now I feel guilty. Tenzo is worried. He still cares after all I put him through. The rain was falling down even harder, as Kakashi unlocked his door and started walking in. This smell. The shinobi got 3 feet inside the door of his house before it hit him. Roof, where's the food Kakashi? Pakun. The smallest of the ninkin whined while shaking the rain off his fur. No wonder my house smells so bad, it's from the 8 of you. How long have all of you been in here? Kakashi opened his fridge, wincing at the emptiness of it. What, no food here? Then go shopping. Urushi, one of the very upset and very hungry ninkin, complained. The dog summoner shook his hair out, in hopes of it drying at least a little. What do all of you expect me to do? Go out and chop up some random animal for you to munch on? Pakun crawled on top of his owner's dripping silver locks. We've been here about 20 minutes. Now, how about you go out and buy some food for this place? You've lived here longer than a month and nothing is unpacked. Not even Naruto's things. If I don't go to the store, then what? Are you going to pick my flesh off to the bone? Pakun gently bit the top of his master's head. Exactly, you will be our meal. So chop, or you will be our chops. The silver-haired Junin sighed, while punting Pakun onto the couch. Okay, I will go to the store. What dog food do you guys prefer? And I'm going to warn you, if any of you ever decide to eat me, then I wouldn't taste very good. The small ninkin rolled over on the couch, scratching his floppy ears. Yeah, we know. You're thin and bony. Not much taste to you, believes me. I've gnawed on your arm before. Now go to the store. 30 minutes later, Kakashi returned with 4 very large bags of doggy food. And as soon as that Y-Dog Master walked through his house door, bam! That so-called dog master was jumped, landing on his perfect ass on the floor. I'm home, as you can obviously tell. Since you all jumped me, using me to get to the food. Kakashi sat up, watching all his dogs tear into the bags of food. Thank you Kakashi. All of the ninkin said simultaneously. Yeah, whatever. But you're all going back after you finish up here. The silver-haired Junin said, aggravated. An hour later, the dogs disappeared in clouds of smoke, leaving the sad and alone Kakashi to his thoughts. Maybe if he just didn't think about the blue-eyed blonde, then it might not hurt? Or maybe if the silver-haired Junin went to sleep, then he wouldn't remember as soon as he woke up. Even if only for a few minutes, at least he wouldn't be stressing over it. The Junin wouldn't be going crazy out of his mind on where his Naruto could be. At this moment, right now, what is the blonde doing? Is he hurt? Crying? In pain? Could the one person in the masked man's life, who he would die for without any regrets or any second thoughts, be lying in a ditch somewhere? Calling his sensei's name, possibly screaming for help? The thought of that happening is unbearable. I need something to distract myself with. The silver-haired man got up off the floor, where he was surrounded by pieces of dog food and drool. Well, there is plenty of things I could do. Kakashi started to look around his house, the disaster that it was. There were half-unpacked boxes as far as his one dark eye could see. Or not, the only remotely tidy room in his big house was the Junin's master bedroom. Kakashi walked through his bedroom door, taking in the neatly made bed and the rain going down his window. I haven't even slept in this bed since that last morning with Naruto 2 weeks ago. His scent still lingers. Well, he did sweat a lot that night. Especially on me, that whole night. I will just sleep on the couch, won't be able to relax if I do it in here. The Y-sensei headed back downstairs, removing the dirty blankets from his back throbbing, but cushiony goodness of a couch. Plop. He landed on his stomach, face squished into the seat cushion. Sniffles? You have to be kidding. This couch smells just like wet dog. Kakashi did a push-up and rolled off his couch, landing on his vested back. OWW, I can't sleep like this either. I'm just going to stay up and, maybe unpack Naruto's things. The silver-haired man got up from the floor, walking in the fine direction of his box-cluttered kitchen. Okay, so about 5 of these are Naruto's? His gloved hands started to rummage through the opened ones. Clothes, more clothes, and boxers. What the hell is this? Kakashi pulled out 5 pairs of personally decorated boxers. Is this supposed to be me? On his ass? The boxers were black and silver with the village symbol decorated on it randomly with Kakashi's face, and smiling eye plastered across the ass area. Then this, Sasuke. It was dark blue and Sasuke's name printed in the fabric multiple times, in a red color. Sakura and Naruto's name, with best friend written below. These boxers were light blue and 2 different shades of pink. Even if Naruto has run away. If nothing else, then I'm sure he would come back just for her. Kakashi unfolded another pair, which had Team 7 written on it. With all 4 of their names, Sasuke, Sakura, Naruto and Kakashi sewn in. Now what's this last one? What is this? The masked nin heard a thud and saw a book fall from the last pair of boxers. Kakashi discarded the cloth back into the box, and picked up the fallen book. It's just a black book. So why was it hidden? The Junin opened the book to the first page, and mumbled the words out loud. He read the first paragraph wrote within the mysterious book. I know this may seem silly, me of all people writing in a diary, but because of my best friend Sakura, I finally sank this low. She convinced me to write down my feelings here ever since I told her my secret. About my sensei, it's just that, I have these weird feelings for him and, this is Naruto's personnel journal, and he wrote about me. I must put this book down. Kakashi closed the book, sitting back in the box. That's right, none of my business. It's filled with Naruto's personnel thoughts and I can't disrespect that. The Y-sensei might have said that, and thought that. But did he really mean it? No. Simple as that. Just no. All Kakashi wanted to do was pick that book back up and read to his heart's content. After all, the blonde was admitting some feelings for his sensei. How could the silver-haired man pass up on finding out how Naruto really feels? Deep down inside, does he love his sensei? Did he ever hate him? What the truth is behind his 2-year-long relationship WTH Sasuke. The only way the Junin would get the answers to the questions he has is to read. So, Kakashi slowly walked back over to the table, letting the curious emotions take over his will. And the masked nin opened the diary of a blonde boy. And, I just don't know what it is quite yet. When I'm around sensei, my heart beats so fast and my palms start to sweat along with this feeling in my stomach. Like a nervous feeling, y'all know what I mean diary. What am I saying? I can't just keep calling you diary every time I talk to you like this. You must be named. How about Maru? That would be a perfect name for you. Kakashi pulled his fingers through his damp silver locks. Naruto, it sounds like he loves me. But this can't be right, this is on the first page. Is it dated? Kakashi looked at the top of the page, it said July 22nd. July 22nd, of what? He continued to read down the page for hints, scanning it all, until the silver-haired man came across just what he was looking for. I know that I just passed the 3rd test of the Chunin exams, and waiting another half-month for the final test. But Sensei took off with Sasuke for special training, and left me here. Is there something special about Sasuke? Why did my Sensei that I care for, much more than Sasuke does, get Sensei all to himself? What about me? I wanted to spend time with Sensei and have him train me too, but I guess that's not happening. What, Naruto? I had no idea that it affected you that way, but when Naruto started having feelings for me was when he was 13. But he must have gotten over it, and moved on to Sasuke. That might explain a lot of things but would still leave many questions unanswered. Kakashi stood next to his kitchen table, muttering to himself. going over the words he read in the journal over and over again. Is there something special about Sasuke? The Junin repeatedly read over the pages, letting the words act as knives sticking his heart. I learned how to walk on water today. Even if I wish Kakashi-sensei would have been the one to teach me. But instead he is probably teaching Sasuke at the moment, how to walk on water. He scanned, flipping through the diary until he saw dried tear marks on a page and smeared ink. Oh God, Maru, I need to tell you something that I wanted to say for a while now. Well, you see, I think Sensei is seeing someone. I don't think he would be interested in guys, but Sensei and Yamato-sensei were acting really touchy today. I was going to check on Kakashi-sensei in the hospital after being set to bed rest, and I saw them holding each other's hands lightly. A smile, such a bright smile, was going across Yamato-sensei's face, and his eyes were just so shiny. It hurt, somewhere deep. Like I was just stabbed in the heart or something. Watching that scene, even though I hate to admit this, made me cry. Maru, I ran to an empty room and locked the door behind me and just cried. Actually, I'm crying just from remembering it so clearly right now. What should I do? Is this a sign to move on from Sensei? I am confused and hurt. So maybe. Kakashi continued to scan the paper, dumbfounded by everything he was absorbing through his one dark eye. Naruto. You knew? And to think that you're the reason that me and Tenzo broke up. Maybe I should explain things properly to him, to Naruto. Quote, then something dawned on the silver spikes on the Junin's head. If Naruto knew that I dated Yamato, a guy, then why was he so surprised when I said my special person was a guy? Naruto, you acted like this was your first time knowing any of this. Ah, Maru, I came to a decision about the whole Kakashi and Yamato thing. Since I haven't slept in 2 days because of this, I've decided to make myself forget. That way it will leave my mind, and every time I see them together I want to cry. Don't get me wrong, Maru, I still love Sensei. But he seems happy from what I have seen of them together. If I tried to steal his scarecrow heart, then it might trouble Kakashi-sensei more. So that's my decision, make myself forget? A million thoughts were running through the silver-haired Junin's mind. Make myself forget? Don't get me wrong, I still love Sensei. Steal his scarecrow heart. Is this saying that Naruto literally blocked that information from his mind? Did I cause him that much pain? Naruto at one time loved me so much that, me being with someone else drove him to forget? Did I break his heart without even knowing? All those years, I could have had Naruto. He should have been mine. But I let Sasuke take him first. And because of my carelessness, you have been heartbroken again. Naruto? I'm sorry, Naruto. When you return, I will make you mine. No matter how long it takes, or what it takes. With this, Kakashi sat the diary of a certain blonde boy down, and headed back to the back-hating couch. Don't worry, Maru, I will continue reading you tomorrow. But damn it, I need some sleep. And the couch smells like Pakun. Damn dog. All kinds of wet and rolling on my couch. It had been a total of 2 months. That's how long everyone's favorite blonde had been gone. How long he chose to stay hidden fro the world. XYZ tilde. I've read his whole diary. I really am terrible. Kakashi mumbled to himself while plastered across his couch. The gloved hands started to flip through the pages, stopping at the ones marked with little pieces of paper. I still can't get over this one. Kakashi read over a page, dated back from when Sasuke finally came back. Well, Maru, I'm with Sasuke now. I finally brought him back to the village. I kept my promise to Sakura. I did what I swore to do years ago. But there is only one problem. You see, Sasuke wouldn't agree to return unless it was with me, unless we were together as a couple. But I didn't really think of him in that way. I love Sasuke and everything, but I don't know about that way. What will Sensei say? What if I never get to be with him, ever? Naruto. Kakashi sighed as he flipped to another page. I wish you would have just told me. This page was about a month into his relationship with Sasuke. Maru, Sasuke wants to do things with me, but even though we have gotten closer, I really don't think we should do it. Sasuke, he wants to have with me. And I know how males do it with each other. It is going to hurt me a lot. But that's not the point here, Maru. The thing is, I'm not ready to do that with someone I don't even love like that. I just can't. Do you understand? Kakashi flipped through some more, the guilty feeling in his chest growing heavier and heavier as each page fell from his thumb. This one is my favorite. Sensei. I love him so much. But there is no way that I could tell him, but each TME. I look at his masked face, or even know that I will see him, my stomach becomes light and I can't stop smiling. Sensei. I want to be with you so badly. Okay, today's Thursday. The lazy nin looked around his living room for the clock. It's noon, huh? Well, might as well go a little bit early today. I have some things to say anyway. Kakashi got up, shoving the diary of a blonde boy in his gray packs. Sitting it next to his Icha, then taking off through his front door. XYZ tilde. Kakashi was the first in the room, the white room. The room where the Uchiha laid in bed, most of his wounds healed. But still plenty of injuries to lock him up in the hospital for more days to come. Kakashi, what are you doing in here? The so-called Raven said with a heartless tone, and the facial expression to match. The Junin gave no emotion or expression as he leaned against the window. I came here early. Sakura and Tsunade come in and visit with you every Thursday, remember? I just tag along to replace Naruto, for Sakura of course. Sasuke gave an emotionless laugh. What do you want, Kakashi? You came early for a change, so you must have an alternative motive. Actually yes, I came here early because I have something to say. A smirk formed under the Junin's mask. You're my student, and I care for you deeply. When you raise your students, they are just like children. You bond with them, protect them and train them. You love them. As their sensei you must do all of these things. So that even when they do terrible things, you don't shun them. Even when the whole world does, you don't, because they are your precious students. But even though you and Naruto are my students, I'm going to fight. Sasuke's eyes glowered, as he realized that he wouldn't like the answer to his next question. Fight for what exactly? Fight for Naruto. I am going to fight for him, because I know you. And all you are going to do is hurt him in the future. So, because I love him, I am going to fight for my place beside him. Thought it would be a good thing to warn you about. Anger darted over the Raven's pale face. You think you can win against me? Who do you think he has been with for the past 2 years? Even if you fight, I will win. The silver-haired Junin stuck his hands in his vest pockets. You might have been with his body, but who do you think his heart was with? The room suddenly went cold, as the tension rose. Sasuke glaring at his sensei with a spine-chilling glare. Naruto loves me, and I love him. Just watch Kakashi. This is a simple game of chess, and we're each the kings. The difference between us is, that I will be the last one standing with Naruto in my arms. The masked nin chuckled. We shall see, Sasuke. A few moments later, as the evil chuckle fell silent, Sakura and Tsunade walked in through the plain white door. GWWRRR, Kakashi. Pakun. The smallest of the masked monks Ninkin barked on the other side of the window. The silver-haired man opened the window and stepped out. What is it, Pakun? Any hints? Yes, we caught his scent coming towards town about 15 minutes ago and tracked it until he got through the village gates. Then the others kept track of him, as I came here as fast as I could. Pakun said, while panting. So, he's back? Kakashi said, trying to hide his excitement. Not just back, but coming here too. He has already entered the hospital doors. I am assuming he is on the way here, to this room. Okay, good job. Thank you, Pakun. Thank the others for me, and you're excused. Kakashi watched as his Niken disappeared in a cloud of smoke. He came back into the room, closing the window behind him. Kakashi-sensei, what was that about? Sakura asked, with hope-filled eyes. That maybe it was about her best friend. About Naruto and his whereabouts. When he would be returning. If ever? These were the questions that swarmed the pink-haired girl's mind every day for the last 2 months. It was just. Kakashi started to speak, fixing to push it aside as nothing. But there was movement on the doorknob, leading into the pale white room. The door opened, and you could hear Shizune saying, "Ah, sorry for the intrusion, Tsunade-sama, Sasuke." She walked in, and behind her came in a tall, tan, blonde. Naruto's eyes darted around the room, taking in the whiteness of everything. And then seeing all the familiar faces, looking back at him. His best friend. Her eyes wide and glowing with her green shine. The Hokage, who looked at IM with a normal, but happy expression. Then his sensei, whose eye was burning with some strange emotion. Which the masked nin himself couldn't even place or give a name. Sakura, who was standing but 2 feet away from her sensei, looked over to him quickly, noticing the sudden change in aura around him, but looked back just as fast. But lastly, the dark, round eyes of a certain Uchiha landed on the blonde. Naruto wore his regular jogging pants and jacket, but it was unzipped completely and open. There were no shirts underneath the jacket, just bandages that wrapped around his firm, tan, waist and chest. Sakura let out a muffled gasp as her hand covered her thin lips. Naruto, what happened? The blonde walked further into the room. Sasuke, I have something to say. So don't talk. Just please, listen. The raven nodded his black-haired head in an understanding manner. Naruto bent down next to the Uchiha's bedside, clutching his pale hand. Sasuke, Ba-chan told me some things I didn't want to believe at first. But since I know she would never hurt me like this, and it all be a lie. So after careful consideration of everything I was told, and consideration of what has happened, I decided that everything Ba-chan told me had to be true. Even though I really wish that they weren't. But ya know, Sasuke, you cheated on me multiple times. Played me, lied to me multiple times and hurt my best friend, in a terrible and selfish way. All of these things, everything you've done, has affected everyone around you. Maybe not the whole village, but everyone who got used for your special, knock-up jutsu. Sasuke, you hurt Tsunade-sama and Shizune, and killed Sai during the war. Kakashi-sensei, you have hurt him and he cares for you. Sensei, he worries about you a lot. Then, even if everyone else was hurt, I still believe I was done the most damage. I still think that you hurt me, most of all. That I feel the most pain. The blonde's grip grew tighter as crystal-clear tears fell from his deep blue eyes. Sasuke watched this, guilt hitting him hard as he watched his blonde, his Naruto. Watched as the boy he loves the most shed his precious tears, all because of him. The blonde that no matter how much he tried, couldn't bring himself to stop thinking about, no matter how hard he tried. Ever since they were graduates from the academy. The Raven, despite everything he has done, despite how everyone else feels. The Raven, despite everything, he couldn't stop himself from truly loving one person. Naruto. The blonde still crying, and now looking into Sasuke's dark eyes. So Sasuke, even though I have hurt so much for the past 2 months. Even if everything you have done is unforgivable. But a special person taught me, that, the unforgivable, can always be forgiven. Those words are the reason I'm sitting by your bedside and picking up the courage to tell you all of this. And crying for you. And because of those words, I'm able to tell you, Sasuke. I love you. I love you so much that it hurts. It hurts to love you, and not in a good way. I have spent the last 2 months trying to figure everything out in my mind. Then, I came to a decision. That no matter how much I love you, I can never be with you. Sasuke, you lost my trust in you, and we will never have another chance of being together again. I'm ending it completely. Sasuke, shocked and scared, slid his hand up onto the blonde's wet cheeks. What, Naruto? What are you saying? That you're leaving me? But you can't because I'm the love of your life. And what? Naruto wiped the tears from his bright blue eyes. Sasuke, you're not the love of my life. A year ago, I would have agreed and said that. But now, because of the 2 months I was gone, I came to a realization. The Raven slowly let his hand fall from Naruto's face, closing his eyes as they started to water. What would your realization be? The blonde stood up straight, his eyes glancing around for Kakashi. Spotted. Ba-boom. Ba-bum. Naruto found him. His sensei, that made his heart race. The blonde, bravely made eyes contact with the silent, silver-haired man. But breaking it quickly to meet with Sasuke's. My realization was that, I might have loved you for 2 years. But ever since I was 12, I've loved someone else too. The love I have for this person makes my heart race, my face turn beet red, makes my stomach have butterflies and hurt at the same time. The nervous anticipation that swells up inside me. It gives me a physical pain, but it feels so right. The pain makes me want to see him more. This pain, it's not something I've ever experienced due to you. Not once have I ever gotten so happy that my stomach hurt, because I knew that I would see you or be in the same bed with you. But when I think about him it becomes hard to breathe. These emotions, I have never felt them for you. Sasuke, the love I have for you, I was always doubting it. But that doesn't mean that I don't care deeply for you still. Sasuke, you will always have a place in my heart, but this other special person means so much more. Naruto. Is he talking about me? The silver-haired Junin could hear his heart pounding at the thought of it. So fast. Babum 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 bum bum babu mmm. So uncontrollably. So loud. Baboom. By Sasuke. Naruto started to walk through the white and plain hospital room, passing his frozen friend, who could only manage to watch him go on by. Going past Shizune, whose face was filled with surprise. Along with Tsunade, who had a plain but happy-looking expression. Naruto slid the window open, bringing one foot up to it. The blonde then turned his head, looking directly into Kakashi's dark blue eyes. "Sensei, I'll be at home, waiting for you." Naruto said this with a hushed tone, as he took off. The masked man, he was that one small smile that could light up his whole day. My heart. It's pounding like a madman. Sakura ran out the door holding onto her older lover's hand. Tsunade-sama, we have to get Naruto. They were out the door, and Shizune followed, closing the door shut behind her. Kakashi held up his appearance as the laid-back, cool-looking, and wise sensei. Sasuke, I think that was checkmate. The Raven threw his pillow at the Junin. Shut up, he could have been talking about anyone else besides you. Kakashi chuckled. Yeah, Naruto could have, but he wasn't talking about anyone else. Just, leave, now. Right away. The Junin jumped out the window and started for home. The Raven sat in bed with his hands over his eyes. Damn it, Naruto. I really do love you. I really do. The tears ran down, staining his pale face. Dripping down onto the white sheets, leaving the damp evidence behind. XYZ tilde. Naruto. Sakura yelled, panicking as she spotted her best friend running towards wherever. The blonde slowed down to a halt, turning to face this warming voice. Sakura-chan. He looked down to her stomach, which you could start to see the small baby bump through the shirt she wore. The poor blonde was pounced to the ground, no fair warning or anything. Naruto. You're such a damn idiot, you know that. Sakura yelled while crying, with her arms around the blonde's neck. I was so worried about you. I missed you every freaking day. You just left me here. If you needed to escape, then why didn't you take me with you? You idiot, idiot, idiot. Naruto wrapped his arms around her waist, pulling her body down to his. I'm sorry, Sakura-chan. It was just a thing that I did by impulse, I guess, so please. I'm sorry. The pink-haired girl stayed on top of the blonde, not moving and crying into his neck. Why, you're still such an idiot. Naruto held her tighter, and breathed a sigh of relief. I know. I am an idiot. Kakashi stopped behind Tsunade. Are these two okay? The blonde-haired woman looked pleased as she said, yeah, they're going to be okay. But these two can talk later. I have a strong feeling that you and Naruto need to talk more, so go ahead and take him. Kakashi walked up beside the two hugging in the muddy ground. Naruto, you're getting your jacket dirty. Sensei. The blonde had grateful surprise wash over his flushed face. Come on, I want to take you home. The Junin held his hand out to the blonde. Sakura took the hint, judging from her best friend's face, and got off of him. The silver-haired man lifted the lightweight blonde from the ground, not letting go of his muddied hand. Sensei, I have missed you. I know, because I've missed you so much more. Idiot. Kakashi made a few hand signals and they were both in the middle of the living room. The both stood there, unsure of what to say. Should I tell Naruto that I read his diary? That would be the right thing to do, so. Kakashi stared into the blue eyes, debating, questioning, deciding, and then answering. Naruto, I have something to tell you. Kakashi looked pained and guilty, praying that the blonde would forgive him. In other places Tsunade and Shizune were in her office, as the blonde woman pulled out a certain black and silver scroll. Decorated with a snake and cobra seal. Shizune, it's about time to do that. The pig-wielding woman sighed in disapproval. I still can't believe you're going to do something like this. It's rather cruel. I know, but cruelty gets matched with cruelty. So that means I need some Anbu in here. Get Yamato and a few others please. Tsunade said through a devious smile. Minutes later, Yamato and 3 others were in her office awaiting instructions. Tsunade laid the scroll back into its box. Okay, you 4 are going to track Orochimaru down for me and give him a message from me.
That's all for now. If you want to see next part, then please like this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.